Welcome into the Form Home Edition. Auckland is still on a level 4 lockdown, but the rest of the country is going to get racing this afternoon. And so we've pulled together the best minds in the business, both here and across the ditch, to bring you all of the latest form. Here's what's on the agenda this afternoon for the Form. We've got a Matamata preview with Brendan Popplewell. Matt Cross will be hot off the press from Ashburton. A triple Greyhound preview. That's with Philippa Morris, Mark Rosanowski and Andy McCook. It's going to be interesting to see what they pull together. And we've got a Sydney preview with one of the hot trainers, Mark Newnham. And then the most important part, your best bets. Well, let's crack into things here on the Form, and to start things off, Brendan Popplewell joins me. 11 races on the card at Matamata this afternoon, Brendan. Plenty to sink our teeth into. What do you like on the programme?
Yeah, there's plenty to get involved with here, Emily, and I'm actually going to the very last race. I thought a horse that was a bet last time to the races and battled on gamely, and that being Super Centi. Was in a Saturday maiden when last presented and wasn't too far off them. And of course, 2 starts ago, ran in that maiden as at race behind Ashburton, who ended up making it 4 wins on end. And on that occasion, Super Centi actually beat home some horses that had already won a maiden race. So very good run on that occasion. Has raced well here at Matamata, about first run this preparation when finishing second. I do like the horse's chances and was happy to go with that as my best bet in the last race, Super Centi.
And what about a value for us? Can we pick your brain and get one of those from you?
Well, on the Form a couple of weeks ago, Emily, I was keen to mark a black booker by the name of Apache Power. Now, this horse does line up in race number 10. Produced all the very good sectionals when finishing on into 4th position. Missed the start by 5 lengths. Got to the outside part of the track and really did rock it home and produced the right figures you want to be seeing from a horse. If the horse can be have that ability to jump away with them and not be detached like it was last time out, and has won on heavy ground, which was 2 starts ago in breaking maiden. So I was happy to have something on the each way on Apache Power in race number 10.
And the TAB, they're very excited to have us back racing, Brendan. They put on an Ashburton and Matamata across all races that $10,000 bonus first 4 option. And so we couldn't let you go without getting a first 4 from you too.
Yeah, I certainly love a first 4, Emily. And there is going to be maybe throughout the day at Matamata some races where the first 4 may not go, and that could mean we'll have a roll-on effect in terms of bigger pulls going into some of these races. That could happen in the middle part of the day. But I do want to go to the first race, and I do like the chances of the one horse in the race in Hard Done. He's run really solid seconds of late. I know that he's a horse that hasn't quite got the job done yet, but has a great opportunity of doing so. And Pacheco, runner number 2, I know a horse you really did like when presented last time out, and just looked as though the horse was looking for more ground and was charging through the line and nearly got there. Happy to play a first 4 around those 2 horses to win. So 1-2, 1-2 for first. Looking around third, horses like Birch has a chance, so maybe 3, 5, 7, 11 and 12 for third, and then maybe taking the field for fourth. So that would be my attack on a first 4 on the first race of the day.
Awesome stuff. Thanks so much for your time, Brendan. And so good to be back racing, isn't it?
Oh, great feeling. And a busy period now, isn't it? 6 meetings coming up in the next 7 days for the northern region. So plenty to look out for and a lot of good horses resuming. And of course, all the eyes will be on Saturday as we gear up towards the Foxbridge Plate.
Yes, so much to look forward to, Brendan. Can't wait to see that racing throughout the rest of the week. We've got to go because we've got Matt Cross on the line to chat all things Ashburton. And Matt, so good to have racing back, isn't it?
Absolutely it is, Emily. Hi to you. Hi to everybody. I think that everybody's been waiting for this moment here in the south. I really feel for people who are in the Auckland region who can't get out and get to the races, but at least there'll be something to look forward to on trackside. And it's an important time of the year, Emily, with the spring racing coming up. These horses need to get the racing under their belt with a view to, for us, Cup Week, which is only a couple of months away.
Yeah, it sure is. What about that card at Ashburton? What have you got as a value bet?
Value bet, Emily. I've got a horse that you might be familiar with from the North Island. He's had 1 run here in the south. His name's Bolt from the Blue. You'll find him head around in race number 9 on the card. He drew 1 from the outside in an 18-horse field at Riccarton last time out, and his run wasn't actually all that bad. He finished a little worse than midfield, but he wasn't all that far off them at the 100, in a race that was dominated by those that were in the middle, sort of closer to the rail. He was sort of against the pattern on the outside and may have been in need of that run here in the south. I think it's a really suitable race for him. Comes up with a nice barrier draw, around $10 on the each way shopping. I think you could have a little look at Bolt from the Blue. Often, Emily, we see horses who are from the North Island. Often in their first couple of runs here in the south, they pick up a win. So we'll be hoping to find that with Bolt from the Blue.
Well, if that's your best, how much is your value paying?
Well, I actually made Bolt from the Blue the value. We'll go the best on the card, Emily, in race number 3 in Sacred Giant. This horse had a run in Hong Kong, ran around Happy Valley. Had a couple of trials here in New Zealand, ran okay, went to Hong Kong, ran around Happy Valley. I think it might have been over 11 or 1,200 metres. Got well back, just didn't look like a happy horse. He's quite a big horse, quite a big rangy horse. And as you know, horses like that probably not suited to running around Happy Valley. And clearly he didn't settle into the Hong Kong lifestyle. Only had the one run over there. He's first up back here in New Zealand. Terry Ray is the trainer. This horse was sent on a bit of a mission and a trial. Looked as though he might have been in need of a hard run. And I expect that he would have bounced off that pretty nicely. So he's the best of the day. Race number 3, Emily, in Sacred Giant. The Terry Ray factor will take you a long way with the best bet.
And one more I know you had was a horse to watch for punters.
Yeah, a really nice horse, really, really good horse heading around Milford Sound in race number 10. We saw him in Stakes Company in the North Island do a great job. Won his maiden in emphatic fashion, one of the best maidens wins that I've called here in the last couple of years around Canterbury. First up, 1,400 metres, a little bit of a question mark with no trials under his belt, but he's a class act. He's one of the better horses here in the South Island. So keep a close eye on him in race number 10. Takes on stablemate Caitlin J, who actually has a very good record as well. And the other race to watch, race number 4, the 3-year-olds heading around in there. Sabin Kirkland has a runner heading up from Ascot Park called Sea Shepherd. Certainly worth keeping a close eye on that. But Emily, looking forward to getting back to the races on Wednesday out of Ashburton. Slow track, so we're just starting to see a little bit of improvement in the ground. Hopefully within the next month or so we can start finding sort of that dead range, and generally that's a little bit of a better punting option, as you know.
Yeah, it sure is. And as we heard from Brendan, don't forget about those bonus first fours as well, worth $10,000 across all races at Ashburton and Matamata. Lots for the punters to look forward to. Matt, thank you for your time. And for you at home, we're going to get you off to a break. And on the back of that, let's get into a Greyhound preview with 3 of our best. Welcome back with us here on The Form. I've pulled together some of the greatest minds in New Zealand Greyhound industry to have a little look at some tips for our upcoming meetings this afternoon, Wanganui and, of course, Addington. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining. Awesome to have racing back. Pip, I'll start with you because let's have a little look at that Wanganui form. What are you liking as a best bet and a value bet?
Good afternoon to you too, Emily. Yeah, look, it's beautiful to have racing back, isn't it? I've picked out a couple, and I'm going with Lisa Cole's runners. Just has that home track advantage, I think, has a really big training track at the property. So I think fitness will be to the fore. So I picked up a best bet in race number 9. It's called Big Time Dory. Look, she drops out of class 2-3 racing back into a winnable race for her. And last time she was in behind the likes of Power Boom, Big Time Vegas and Elsa, and she didn't get all favours in that run. So look, I think if she picks the jump a little bit better, Emily, she should be taking out that race or go very close anyway. And I think she should mark it up at a nice price as well there for the best. And then for the value, I've also gone for a Lisa Cole runner in Big Time Mason in race number 7. Look, he's coming off a re-qualifying trial for Allegro Brian. He was third in that behind a couple of nice types, including Brian, who can run along. He was a little bit luckless in a couple of his runs, bar his last one. He's been freshened up. I just think he comes into a race, a game where he should be at a bit of value and definitely can make that top 3 off box number 3.
Awesome stuff, Pip. Thanks for that. Mark Rosanowski will link in with you. What have you got for us on the card at Wanganui?
Well, look, I'm struggling for some value at this stage, Emily, but there's some dogs I'm really looking forward to seeing going around, and a couple of them I've been waiting on, and actually Philip has already mentioned one of them. But on the subject of Philippa and Philippa's mum, Carol, I'm going to come out of the traps running race 2. A dog called Mr. Fahrenheit. He draws box number 5. He's only had a few starts so far. He's been racing over the middle distances. When he qualified nicely over a sprint. And recently, he requalified with an outside blinker on, which is probably something I need with the kids around here at the moment, Emily. And the homeschooling outside blinker, very, very useful. And it'll be useful for Mr. Fahrenheit as well. And when he qualified with that outside blinker on, he ran a really nice time and good enough to take out race number 2. We won't be getting any fancy odds, and there is risk involved with a dog like him, but he's certainly got some talent. So looking forward to race 2, number 5, Mr. Fahrenheit. Philippa mentioned Be Lucky Banjo, a race 8 dog too. Now, I expect that she'll be priced up really short. She is a new import for Gary and Sandra Fredrickson, but she actually requalified here in New Zealand back in June. And in that requalifying run, she ran 17:64, which is a super time. And a dog who ran third in that particular trial was Blinken Lily, who's had 2 big wins over the 520 metres so far, and stunning times for Gary and Sandra. So Be Lucky Banjo should be kicking off its New Zealand career with a win, race 8, number 2, through all multis for me. And look, the dividend might not be too bad. There's a dog in there called Allegro Zach of Elisa Coles. It's won 6 of its last 7. It's not going to be able to run the time that Be Lucky Banjo can, and so I've got no issues about Be Lucky Banjo winning it. But with Allegro Zach in there, we might get a few extra cents on the price, I hope, for what will probably be my best bet of the day. And sticking with Gary and Sandra, we've got 15 races tomorrow. Meeting code 9, race number 4, Highview Tigger, a dog that Philippa tipped out last start in a maiden final, won it very easily, steps to class 1, draws box 8, looks beautiful for the dog as it is for a few in that litter. So I just expect Highview Tigger to step up to class 1 and win. So there's 3 that I'll be putting in a multi, Emily. Hopefully, come race 1 of 15, I'll have some value as well. At this stage, though, I'm just looking at dogs that can hopefully just get out there and run and win for us. It's 2 weeks we haven't been racing, but it feels like 2 months.
It does, doesn't it? Exactly right there. Andy McCook, last but by no means least, let's get to you way down south at Addington. Tell us what you like on the programme there.
Yeah, looks a very even card down here, to be fair. I think the best goes around in race number 2, a dog by the name of Coffee Biscuit. She comes up with box number 3. She was a nice last start winner. I don't think we'll be getting anything great in terms of price, but I think she'll be going home a winner there. A little bit of value in race 6, the 4-dog Pascal Jewel. She's a funny little greyhound. She's only won 1. She's not the bravest little dog when things go wrong for her, but not a great deal of speed around her. I think we'll get a decent price, and I think she can end up in front into the first corner, which will be good for her. And just a couple others to follow on the program as well. In the first, dog by the name of Diamond Crusade to run a place only. I don't think he can beat the Fahey dog and Jatan, who requalified in 17:04 here at Addington and has been setting the track on fire in recent trials. But I think Crusade can stomp home into a place. Similar for Gold Star 1130, comes up with box 1. He's a perennial place getter. I think he can storm home late and get into the money as well. And Epic Addie, who goes around in race number 5, she comes up with box 5. She's got speed to burn, expecting her to lead and be pretty hard to beat back. So there's a few for the punters to be following into, Emily, and hopefully 1 or 2 of those can land and make $1 on our return to racing.
Love it. So much for punters to sink their teeth into. Massive thanks to the 3 of you for taking time out to bring us those great tips. Enjoy racing this afternoon. And that's it for this segment here on the Form. On the back of this break, we're going to get into our Australian preview. Mark Newnham has very kindly joined us to chat about his runners this afternoon at the Kensington. And Mark, great to have you on the show, and got a couple of nice runners on that card.
Yeah, well, hopefully it ends up that way at the end of the day, but nice to be with you and nice to be racing.
The horse that I was really keen to have a chat about was Money from the Sky, race 1, number 1. Wow, if you had a little look at that replay, which I'm sure you have many times, what an impressive start to its career.
Yeah, look, he's certainly grabbed plenty of attention, and look, Unfortunately, he didn't win first up, but look, it's not through lack of talent. He just needs to get a little bit more race smarts about him. Ideally, if he'd have got into the clear, he wins, and then we're probably going to something stronger. But look, really big, strong colt, good pedigree, looks to have a really bright future, natural talent, and he's still maturing. So look, how far we go this prep will be just a run to run, but look, he's going to end up at a really good level through his career.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. We saw him in that debut run, sort of getting back off them and then coming out wide to come home. Would you expect him to settle a little bit closer this time, having had the benefit of that race day experience?
Yeah, look, I'd hope so. You don't want to be giving away starts like that and expecting to win, especially when he goes up in grade. But look, he's had that outing now. He's a bit more switched on in his work as well. So if Josh is able to take up a better position with him, and just really love to see him in the clear from the top of the straight home. He was still last at the furlong the other day, and once he got to the outside, he really extended, and he's got a huge stride on him. So it'll be nice to just get him out to the 1400. And then after that, just onto a nice big track and up in distance again.
Yeah, you spoke about him being well bred. It must be nice to have a progeny of Frankel in the stable.
Yeah, and look, he's got a bit of presence and a bit of size about him. A lovely big horse, and anytime you get a horse like that arrive, obviously everyone's expectations are high, but at this stage he looks like meeting them.
Yeah, it's an interesting race, isn't it? When I sort of looked at the market, I thought that he'd be the very short-priced favourite, but there's a nice contender in there by Deep Impact, which has meant there's a little bit of value maybe for punters.
Yeah, exactly. And look, that horse of Richard Litt's, Profundo, it was a $1.9 million purchase at Magic Millions, and it was a magnificent yearling. And it just goes to show the strength of Sydney racing. You can't run in a maiden without running into these types of horses. And look, we'll know where we're at tomorrow. Hopefully we come out on top and we're progressing to stakes grade after this.
You mentioned stakes grade and perhaps some bigger assignments on the horizon. I noticed you got nominations for the Caulfield Guineas and also the Spring Champion. Would you have a preference as to a path, the mile, or maybe a little bit further at the 2000?
Oh, look, to me, I would say the Spring Champion would be the goal this preparation. I've been lucky enough in the short time I've been trained to win it a couple of times, and he appeals as exactly the right type of horse for it. And there's a good pathway in Sydney for him to follow. If he gets through tomorrow well, he'll go to the Dulcify and then step up to the 1800 of the Gloaming, and then 2 weeks after that, the Spring Champion.
Your other runner on that card is Escape Artist, number 9. Tell me a little bit about this one.
Yeah, nice filly. She's a little bit of a Kensington track specialist. She's a winner there and placed a few times. Never runs poorly on that track, and it is a little bit of a horses for courses style of track. So she's well in what looks to be a really fast run race. Nice claim for my apprentice Tom Sherry. She should be settling midfield and hitting the line hard.
Whilst we've got you on the phone, we can't let you go without perhaps giving the New Zealand punters a horse to follow, one to put in our race tracker here in NZ. Oh,
look, I'd say I'm really happy with the way Shadow Heroes returned from Hong Kong. It didn't go well for him over there, but he was welcomed back into my stable with open arms. And he seems to be in the right frame of mind, and he's a sound horse that he's just turned 5, but he's only had 16 starts, so he hasn't been overly raced. He'll trial next week at Randwick, Friday week, and then we'll work out a plan from him from there. But I'm sure your punters there, if they follow him, they won't be far away.
Another nice horse in the stable as well, Harmony Rose, you were mentioning to me before we started.
Yeah, look, she had a really good 3-year-old season. She was narrowly beaten at Group 1 level in the Randwick Guineas against the boys, and then only got beaten on the line in the Vinery Stud Stakes at Rose Hill. Her goal ultimately will be the Epsom and Golden Eagle, and that 3-year-old form from last season through Mwanga looks to have stood up pretty well, and even Hungry Heart running well first up in the Wink Stakes. So she'll kick off in a couple of weeks' time, either in the Tibby Stakes at Newcastle or the Bill Ritchie Stakes at Randwick as her lead into the Epsom, and then it's about a month into the Golden Eagle. So they're her goals. She's come back in good order. Last preparation was the only second racing prep, so she's still got a bit of improvement in her.
Yeah, certainly looks that way. A big thanks to you, Mark, for taking time out to have a chat to us here today on the form. And for you punters at home, we're going to get you to a break and then into our best bets on the form. As promised, the most important part of the show, the best bets. Let's see what the team have pulled together for you. Brendan Popplewell goes race 11, number 1, Super Senti at Matamata, sticking with the Gallop's code. Matt Cross, race 3, number 4, Sacred Giant, Ashburton. For the Greyhounds, Mark Rosanowski, race 8, number 2, Be-Luck Banjo. That's Whanganui, and you've got Philippa Morris with the same selection from that meeting. Race 9, number 3, Big Time Dory. Andy McCook at Addington, race 2, number 3, Coffee Biscuit. And from across the ditch, Mark Newnham, race 1, number 1, Money from the Sky. Well, that's it from us here on The Form. Hope you've enjoyed the show. As always, if you need more information, just head to www.tab.co.nz and we'll be back tomorrow with more on The Form.